A place in the grand finals of the Kickoff Clash is calling to one of our two undefeated teams here in Texas. I'm Mitch Leslie, joined by Matthew Morello for our final two games of the day. And this one sure to be an absolute gigabanger. It's the Atlanta Reign and the Los Angeles Gladiators.
A gigabanger, that's a good one. I think a lot of people expected the Gladiators to be in this position. I don't think many expected the Atlanta Reign. The Atlanta Reign just kind of squeaky in. They have a really rough ending to their Kickoff Clash in the regular season, the stage matches, but they've looked great since we got here to Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a bit of a rockier start, right? That matchup against the Mayhem, and we saw how map-dependent their performance seemed to be until Gibraltar rolled around, and the story was Kai obviously going above and beyond on that Widowmaker. Then the San Francisco Shock were in their way. And we thought, okay, I mean, we knew San Francisco had looked a little bit shaky. They may have shaken off some of those jitters by now, but not before they got rolled by the Reign.
No, and we've seen a different look from Atlanta Reign here this weekend. We've seen them play a little bit more. The Zarya comes, we've seen them play Gator and play some Reinhardt style. We've seen Venom a little bit more in to play some of the Tracer. A much different look, and I think it was OG the other day during the interview with Danny said that that's really one of the biggest things they changed coming into this weekend. They've really went back, looked at some of the comps they were playing, decided they weren't in the right position to win. They've changed some of that, and it's paid off.
Hey, Hunter said the same thing about his team. That's one of the exciting themes of this matchup, that flexibility. So what look do we get at the Atlanta Reign to start with? Let's find out. Let's bring them out onto the stage. Make some noise for the Atlanta Reign. All right, there's the blue cap. That's a dead giveaway. Gator going to be starting here at tank. You see Venom also in this starting lineup, right? So already the game plan starting to take shape here for the Reign.
Atlanta's a team that plays off of a lot of confidence, right? Advancing this far, I think they got to feel pretty good about that. But these early maps in these series, they're able to get an advantage. Definitely be huge for the remainder of it. Gator in, it tells you it's going to be probably either Reinhardt or Winston-based gameplay. So that'll be a bit of a tell for the LA Gladiators.
Yeah, look, the Winston has really looked very, very good for Gator. I think he's, obviously managed to turn that into a legitimate threat, which means the Atlanta Reign has no shortage of options. And again, they're going to need it against the Gladiators. We just heard from Hunter saying, I genuinely don't think anyone comes close to us in terms of the flexibility, the adaptability that we have. The Gladiators came into this tournament with that. The Reign had to find it throughout their games, but they're both here.
Yeah, it's the Gladiators. And they they have the lineups to be able to play everything.
All right, it's time to bring out the Reign's opponents, looking strong and plenty of strong words as well. It's the Los Angeles Gladiators.
And what I agree with Hunter is they can play everything with really not making any substitutions, right? You look at, I know maybe Patty Pan out for Ons, and that's really about it. I mean, they want to play some of the Brigitte. They can bring in Skewed, who was tremendous last year. Reiners showed he's able to play pretty much all of the tanks. Just an all-star lineup, top to bottom. Yeah,
it's really hard to find weakness here.
Right.
We've obviously got, an interesting matchup between Venom and Kevster. Kevster, who has been frightening ever since he joined this team. Remember, he was playing remotely with the Gladiators for quite some time. They had a picture of bloody Genji instead of him because he didn't even have a chance to get a photo taken with the roster. As soon as he touched down in Los Angeles, I mean, the script completely flipped on this team, and they've only gotten stronger this year, bringing Reiner in, still having space as an option if needed.
Right, yeah, I mean, they still have space, if like D.Va ever became the meta, fantastic D.Va player to be able to bring in. I feel like Kevster as well, like we talked about, like Proper and Pelicans had sick moments, like Kevster on the Tracer has just been unreal, and I think it's almost become so normal for him to play that well that it's like not as special anymore. But his play on just about every hero is like top 5 in the league. Like the guy is just absolutely insane.
And Patapan as well, someone who received a little bit of criticism early on this tournament. This tournament has been especially good. Definitely someone to be watching out for. Obviously coming across from Valorant here, making the choice to come into professional Overwatch once more, straight onto the Gladiators roster, and it feels like this guy really hasn't missed a beat. Really hard to, I mean, there's a lot of great one-to-one matchups across roles. in this head-to-head. And again, Kai's still looking to make an impact on any of those longer-range hit-scan picks.
Well, I was just going to say that, right? Kai, we saw him play the Widowmaker the other day, and really, I think it was against Hydron, right? Like, dominate the game. You almost can't pick that if you're Atlanta, because the Gladiators, they bring in Ons, they bring in Skewed. Like if you were to look at like Widowmaker players and then Brigittes in the league, like those are two of the best in those positions.
Right, so if Gibraltar really comes around, you expect to see that.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. So Ilios will be the first man in the set. Loser picks from there on out. So, yeah, like you mentioned, the Gladiators so hard to find a weakness with this team that we've seen them play just about everything now and play it at a high level. They seem to also pick up new compositions pretty fast when they bring in the Reinhardt with the Mei, that type of look. They seem flawless.
So the Gladiators, again, Anta really hopes that the Reign are missing. He also tweeted out Coach Div last time they played. So, you know, he's more than happy to talk a little bit of smack, which is just as well because we know what the Reign have had to say on many of their last showings. Nice to hear from OG after their previous map, you know what I mean? Definitely a level-headed individual touting the flexibility of the Atlanta Reign. So this is two teams who think they have all the answers. Well, there's one question left. Which of these two will it be advancing through the upper bracket to our grand finals? Ladies and gentlemen, the Atlanta Reign and Los Angeles Gladiators.
Both teams will come out with a Winston-based look at the start. So a lot of teams, when you see Gator in, you think about the Reinhardt, and you're like, the Winston, are you that worried about it? But he's played pretty good on the Winston in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely not a weak point anymore, I think it's safe to say. See Panapan trade with Kai at length early here. Shoot him with the binding grenade. This will slow the Gladiators down, no doubt. Oh my, Panapan catches some strays as he tries to back up. It's the Reign who try and establish themselves on the point first here. Means that, you know, Shu might have a decent binding grenade lineup if he wants to get aggressive with that, but Panapan, trying to dodge God knows what, gets caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, and it was Ultraviolet who actually hits a sleep dart onto Reiner. Kai comes in, cleans up 3. I think he could be the difference maker in this series. We talked a little bit about it, you know, on the Widowmaker, right, if Ons comes in. But when you play these Soldier heads-to-head, I think Venom is a really good Tracer player. Like, do I think he's better than Kempster? No, but can he, like, kind of keep him at bay? I think possibly. Kai's aim at range, though, is just unreal. That, you know, he starts to heat up, it's really difficult to stop. I mean, his aim is just incredible. That I think he could be a huge difference on the 76 specifically.
Gator trying to play in a neutral position here. Now looking to pressure Reiner down, who doesn't really have line of sight. I love the vertical jump up here. This will allow Ultraviolet to lock him up and heal him. Although it won't be any more pressure for the Gladiators for now. They just, doesn't look like Kempster was really there to join up with Reiner. That's Weiner. He was over dealing with Gator. Nice pulse bomb there to get rid of the enemy Winston. And Venom wants to try and harass Shu. Forced to recall though, as Yana seemed to be a little too strong for him.
Yeah, and Ultraviolet gets a kill. They're gonna nano visor and try and push in.
Pulse bomb there. Funny Astro. Oh, lucky. Slept on the other side of the wall, just breaking line of sight from that explosion. But Kai getting rid of Shu with that tactical visor there. Nice predictive Helix rocket, but Funny Astro was just able to get out of the blast radius. Venom gets rid of Reiner here, but Kai can't stay alive even inside the biotic field. Panapan hitting all the shots. And Funny Astro isn't long for this world either. It's 57, plays 21 with the Gladiators still in control. And Panapan won't be able to retake.
And he uses visor there. And the counter to that is they sound barrier and they run him down. OG and Venom just run right at him. He takes so much damage, has to back up as a little bit of percentage there gained by the Gladiators, but Atlanta getting off to a hot start. No ultimates coming into this next fight, so this one is going to be huge for the Gladiators. You're able to take this. You're in a good spot to
Reiner fortunate, Matt, that he didn't use the Primal Rage at the very least there, but the shield dance is absolutely won by Ultraviolet. Fortunately, he's rewarded with a Helix rocket to the gob, so not really what he was looking for, and the Gladiators able to move in, take point, and obviously that sound barrier allows them to do it a bit more aggressively.
Atlanta's going to get close to 99, so you're in one fight territory here for the Reign. As you come back, as soon as that sleep dart actually on the OG, they get the first kill on the Ultraviolet, and then OG gets slept, and you're able to pick up that kill quite easy. So I think the thing you look at here, no support ults online for the Gladiators. Like, can Venom land a pulse bomb on one of these supports? Be a game changer.
They're all on the high ground. I think that was a defensive binding grenade for Atlanta Reign, and Reiner turns Ultraviolet into an octogenarian pancake. Here's the Primal. Gator, well, he might have been able to escape him, but the damage was just too much there. Reiner able to solidify Gladiators' control here.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do when you lose your Ana that early into the fight, before any type of fight actually even kicks off. So, come back, try again here, as Reiner's gonna go aggressive.
Okay, start! What a stick! Kai gonna be felled by that one, and Ultraviolet limps away from the blast. Kenta looking to make some follow-up here, looking for that mini health pack, but he is hale and hearty, as Gator is anything but. The Gladiators now starting to build a bit of momentum here, looking to run away with it.
Yeah, and I mentioned how big Venom's pulse bomb would be. He throws it in and doesn't connect with anything. So you see the difference between Kepster able to connect, Venom not able to do so. So now you're going to be in last fight territory with the Gladiators, an opportunity to steal this first round.
Shu is in position for this nano. Funny Astro took a big hit there. Forced to vacate as Gator swoops in on the point. Yep, Paddy's down. Shu now needs to decide on a different nano target. It's going to be Reiner to be receiving that one. Here's a sound barrier now from OG, but Ultraviolet already went down to Kepster. Not a good sign for the Atlanta Reign, and Kai needs to try and salvage, but Shu shuts him down. Finds him with the blow dart, and Kepster dealing with OG's, the pulse bomb to follow up, not even needed on Gator. And while the Reign did flip the point back, they've completely run out of players here. And so the Atlanta Reign will bask in the golden hour of overtime ticking down.
Extremely close first round between these teams. Nice sleep dart from Ultraviolet on a Patty Pan. That allows Kai to pick up the kill. But Kai has to go into the middle of the map, try and pick up some more damage, pick up some kills for the team, because he's a large source of their damage. And he just leaves Ultraviolet in a one-on-one against Kepster, where with no sleep dart, there's not much of a chance.
Some canny play from Ultraviolet in that previous round, especially when Reiner came knocking. Unfortunately, once that sleep dart is expended, you are out of options. Switch up here to the more aggressive composition, of course, more mobility for Ultraviolet. He's probably getting pretty sick of being dove. So off to the Moira we go.
It's a little bit of a modified rush here with the Moira Reaper Tracer combination, but not with the Reinhardt. You're going to play with the Doomfist. Play really close around
Gator. We saw this from Houston as well.
Yeah.
All right. Gator wants to try and stake his claim to that left-hand side of the map early. Ultraviolet soothing. The Doomfist here are going to be trading it late. I mean, the Gator Doomfist map, it's not the first time we've seen it here. Normally, obviously, Hawk called on to perform that role. Sometimes the map dictates that the Doom must come in regardless of the pilot.
Yeah, and it's going to be Atlanta taking the point first, just kind of bullying the Gladiators back. And just like Kaluj talked about, I think a lot of these main tank players are going to have to learn how to play that Doom. That's a big kill, though, first, as OG falls.
Yeah, a little bit too close there to Patapan, and an easy target for that Helix. Pulse bomb doesn't connect here. Gator was looking dangerous, but another Helix from Patty will secure yet another kill.
So you're just going to have both forwards on the point.
3 from 3.
For Atlanta, yeah, as the end of this fight going to look quite ugly as the Gladiators flip it back in their favor without really having to use much of anything. You're going to come up here for the Gladiators. You're going to have that Nano Visor, Meteor Strike to stay alive, Sound Barrier. You're down by a lot now, but you're in a position to pull away.
Attack Visor here for Patapan, the only Soldier 76 on the map presently, and a pain for Kai to deal with, who doesn't get a Zarya bubble. So closing the gap on a Soldier 76 is a little bit more than just basic math. Patapan Sound Barrier now. It's time to go for the attack visor. He says Ultraviolet crumples. Looks like OG's going to be able to get away for the time being. It was his Sound Barrier that gave him that sort of durability, but that's a terrible feeling for the Atlanta Reign. You spend so much in that fight, and you still get utterly dumpstered.
Yeah, you use Coalescence and Sound Barrier there, your Pulse Bomb, and it get absolutely nothing. Just kind of ran over. At that point, as Venom is pretty far behind enemy lines. I think they have an idea about this. As Atlanta wants to get back on the point fight fast.
Ill omen for the Reign. Fortunate to have a sick Reaper. Pulse Bomb thrown down there. Kai, though, more than just a little infirm, he's back in spawn. Gator's able to find Shu there with the Meteor Strike. Tough for Arnold to get herself out of that area of effect, and still the Gladiators are, I'm not going to lie, they're easing right on into this, Matthew. With the Reign losing that previous fight after support ultimates came out, they have very little left to call upon.
Yeah, this composition and just kind of what the Gladiators are playing has just not looked effective whatsoever. The 76 able to just sit here in the back, poke down players at range, you're not able to close the gap effectively. And then even if you do close the gap, you're so weak. Kevster's just running around finishing players off. It has not looked good for Atlanta on this point.
It's go time for the Atlanta Reign. They've got to create an opportunity here. Kai trying to force an opening, but is forced to back up there. Ultraviolet taken down, and Patapan, he's causing problems. There's nothing the Reign can do about this either. Cool as a cucumber. And the Atlanta Reign are in deep trouble. That's overtime now, and the Gladiators ever so comfortably take map 1.
I gotta say, you give a 76 that much space, especially one as good as Patapan. I mean, you are just asking for a result like that. As just no pressure on him all game. He's able to just sit back. It's like a firing range out there.
There's some trash talk in the chat. Gator Doom, GG's. So Kevster saying close one, guys. But they're right. The Atlanta Reign normally have Hawk in for those kind of duties, and maybe it showed a little bit there as the Gladiators were very comfortable with that setup. They're looking to sweep the Reign away and save some energy for the grand final tomorrow. Let's see what the plucky boys in red have to say after the break. Welcome back, everybody. We hope you're enjoying the Kickoff Clash Tournament so far. But for those fans attending the event in person, we've got some special perks you can claim right now if you're here with us in Dallas. All you've got to do is download the Overwatch League app, log in with your Battle.net account, and click the gift icon in the upper right-hand corner. That's it. Not only can you earn League tokens, but you'll also get the Overwatch League home and away, Winston skins, and a full pack of 20 team mascot sprays. All great stuff, so go claim your rewards right now if you're here in the venue. If you find Brent and Josh, by the way, they got a fist bump gun buddy for you.
Yeah, even
trust me.
It's so fast to claim. You can get up, go to the bar, come back, claim your reward.
Click the button.
Just like
it's that easy.
It's
hey, what else is easy?
It's so yeah. The first map was easy for the Gladiators. I thought you were gonna say it's so easy to see Josh from here. His head is shining.
Oh, no, there needs to be a light source that's on it for it to reflect.
It's Nero in for Venom, and you're gonna have Hawk coming in for Gator. There's a lot of people in town this weekend. A lot of esports going on here in Dallas. Tettles, one of the Wildcasters here this weekend as well. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, we got DreamHack, I am.
Yeah, lots of people here.
Great time to be here in Dallas, no doubt about it. Hawk coming in for Gator. The Atlanta Reign saying, right, well, if there's any more Doomfist required, he's our man.
And they picked King's Row, I believe. So we saw them play this the other day. They ended up playing some Zarya-based compositions.
And,
right?
and Doomfist as well,
yeah,
on defense. In this matchup, Reiner was constantly taunting Hawk to mirror the Reinhardt. So keep an eye out for that. Again, we've seen teams that trying to play Winston-based defenses on this map. It's really hard. Once you lose a player, you get forced out of line of sight. You get bundled up into that back corner behind the Alderworth Hotel. It's not a great time. Very interested to see what the Gladiators go for. They can sort of try and go for this Ryan. Patapan is in here. They can go for May-based compositions if they want to.
I'm interested in what teams opt to do on the defensive side of things. Defensive Doom sometimes. It's really difficult to play. It looks like that's what we'll see from the Reign early on, potentially, with Nero on the Genji. So a little bit more burst, access to the high ground. This could be easily counterable, though. We'll see what the Gladiators decide to pull out. They could play the Doomfist in like a Doomfist matchup, right? You can play the Winston here. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, Nero obviously a substitution here. Ton of options when it comes to his hero pool. So Genji gonna be the option here now. So we see a Baptiste here for Shu. Makes me wonder about what tank we actually get from the Glads. Aha, yes, as I thought. It will be Reinhardt. Or no?
No, it'll be the Winston. So
what do they scout that makes them make this change?
I think it's possibly the Doom and Genji combo that's kind of nasty against the Reinhardt, just being able to get in, get out, make the Reinhardt spin around, players everywhere, the 76 on the high ground. Gonna play something that's can access high ground a little bit easier. Is Reiner just looking for a target now? They know where Kai is playing on this 76.
Kevston needs to wait for a little bit here as Reiner is the priority for healing. Okay, ooh, wow, he sees Nero, Kai, both looking pretty low, but just goes face first into a bio nade. Yeah, and then you got to follow that up if you're Nero. Doesn't matter if you maybe have to trade yourself there, it's probably going to be worth it. Hawk goes down though, Patapan is in a pretty safe line of sight. Punishes Hawk as he tries to establish some presence on the point here. Again, Kevster has to be fairly conservative. Again, just make some space and let Patapan go to work.
Patapan on the 76 has come up with so many kills. On Ilios, right? It was a lot of first bloods coming from him. I know 2K, 3Ks, and then here, being able to open it up with 2 kills. That is point A taken already for the Gladiators.
All while playing really safely. I mean, with Hawk going down so early, there's no mechanism to threaten the soldier. Nero's not going to do it. Genji's just not going to cut it, especially because it's just all in. There's no way of getting out if you don't get elimination, and Biotic Field makes it really hard to get a dash reset.
And you look at the roster, if the Gladiators play this good, they're going to be difficult to beat for anybody, regardless of region. Patapan,
maybe we get a
Pfizer here.
Like a California clash in the final. Dallas make it through if they can. It's still going to be tough. Pulse bomb there delivered. Hawk is going to be able to get away, but it forces the Rain again to cede territory, and Kevster looks to take advantage. Ultraviolet left in the wake of his team, and Kevster snaps him up, but Hawk waits for Patapan. Punishes him for that slightly more aggressive positioning.
I like the idea from Atlanta, though, to use the beat and try and get Nero in a position to maybe take out Reiner, stop this payload progress. They're not able to do it, though. So the payload will keep moving here for the Gladiators.
Yeah, the Reaper's a little bit of a wrinkle for the Gladiators now, especially as Reiner needs to be a little bit more careful about how he chooses to start these fights. Kai, a lot of pressure on him. Reiner trying to get right in his face, but it's going to be the attack visor nonetheless. Nano Boost gives it that little bit of oomph. And Funny Astro and Patapan will crumble.
That'll be a fight win for the Rain. They needed that badly. They needed to stabilize a little bit here. So you'll have Primal Rage coming in for the Gladiators. This is the only thing across the board. Both teams dumping tons of ultimates into these fights. And Kevs are probably able to build up a pulse bomb here, so see how they decide to use this Primal. Maybe trying to dislodge that 76 from the high ground.
Again, we're still seeing teams opt to go for a Reaper even without Azaya. Nero knows that he can just be very punishing and will limit Reiner's lines of approach. So what the setup is here, Kevster trying to work towards that pulse bomb. If you can get any high ground control, he'll be very pleased, but he'll have to get past both supports. Look at him joining up with Reiner there. Goes in for the dive, Kai a little bit low. Reiner stunned though, as Hawk is going to try and come back and help. No, he fell onto it! Ultraviolet just fell onto the pulse! Kevster looking like this is just another day at the office, but that was just ridiculous!
I mean, that's what I mean by Kevster has become, he's kind of like ascended to this level, kind of like almost like where, like Prophet, right? Like he's so good, you just kind of, you just make all these things
when he
for
makes a
granted.
mistake, it ends up being the exact thing he needed to do. Right.
So that'll be that second checkpoint, 4 minutes plus in the time bank here. So, man, the Gladiators, no defense here. A little bit of defense from Atlanta, but not good enough.
It's minimal.
Nano Visor here coming up too.
Miro back to the high ground there. Patapan got defensively by the Grenadier, but then the nade comes in from UV. Still, Patapan wants to play aggressive. There's a Reaper in his way and a sound barrier in play. Oh man, he's going to force a lot of these Rain players out of those lines of sight. And basically that sound barrier just let the Rain not get wiped.
Yeah, and this will be attack visor in response as Atlanta needs to go. They need to press forward. They're able to get 2 kills.
Really a perfect engagement there from Hawk. He gets a great stun up against the wall, and that just opens the way for Kai to surge ahead.
If you're able to just stop a map completion here, if you're the Atlanta Rain, you are so happy with how this ends up turning out, because the first 2 points were brutal. I mean, you just got ran through, and if you're able to stop it now, you're in a good spot, as Reiner now will move over to the Doomfist as well.
For those that don't want to squint, as we often do with Gladiators on the attacking side, it's 2:54 for them. Still a decent amount of time to play with. And again, Atlanta Rain, a lot of their eggs on that high ground. That's a nasty second. Kai almost headed in the direction of Ultraviolet there. He thinks better of it. Ultraviolet is able just to clear the area. But Kevs is far from done. That sound barrier means he can run directly at UV. He must know that there's no sleep dart available. Forces a defensive biotic grenade there from Ultraviolet. Nero trying to space Patapan away. Cleans him up here, and it looks like the Rain will be able to hold for the time being.
And even though they're behind, right, in terms of time, I've liked how OG has played this map. Really in a great spot all the time. That Lucio able to speed boost in, get players in position to make a play, and that time him and Nero get into the backline. They're able to deal with both supports of the Gladiators. So big play of the Lucio from the Atlanta Rain, and you're going to have Hawk now going over to the Zarya. So these are some of the switches we see teams go through with this tank matchup.
Again, it means, you know, the Reaper was already working for you without that defensive utility. Now you can back him up and allow him to play a little bit more aggressively.
The Reaper can now, like, almost frontline for you at this stage once you have those bubbles for him.
Yeah, feels like having 2 tanks once again. Stick is there. Hawk, though, durable enough that that doesn't really bother him. Kevster downed by Kai on his way there. So look at the Atlanta Rain able to stabilize once more. And again, they burn about 2 minutes. All right, Funny Astro.
Funny Astro's just behind.
All right, see you on Reddit.
I mean, he's got to be careful, yeah. I mean, he's going to stagger himself.
That's the Reddit Lucio experience.
Yeah.
Good trade, Ultraviolet in the chat. Yeah, that was not an auspicious moment for Funny Astro.
Good trade. That's exactly what somebody would say in your rank.
That's what you do. Now, if you have a Lucio that just
good trade, yeah.
ints at you, you're just like, okay, bro.
The Lucio goes, what are you doing? I got one.
60 seconds.
All right. 1 minute remaining now. Los Angeles not able to come up with an answer here, and maybe their troubles being compounded by the presence of Hawk's Zarya. There is a nano visor here.
The Zarya is able to play a little bit more defensive and bubble some of the support sound barrier.
Perfect answer.
In response to the visor. This is good. They got to get on the cart, though.
Now, that is a quote-unquote good trade. It's 2 ultimates for 1. Atlanta Reign also choose to nano Kai, who doesn't find anything as the Glads are well and truly disengaged by that point, but we're running now under 30 seconds left in the round. Patapan needs to continue to pressure. It's Kevster that'll be called on to follow up on this damage. But Astro, sound barrier's going to be good. Rhino was put to sleep, so that's going to keep him alive for just a little bit longer. And there it is. Finally, they drop the shield, take up the sword, and plunge it into the heart of the rain. That's a completion. Funny Astro laughing.
If you're the Atlanta Reign, I'm actually not that upset. They complete the map at only 10 seconds in the time bank with the way it was going. I mean, you're in a, obviously not the ideal scenario, right? But it could have been way worse. It looked like it was going to be way worse. So Atlanta able to battle back a little bit on defense, set themselves up to potentially come back.
You know, I'm not sure if I'm sold.
What did that sign say?
She was my biological father.
Okay, well.
I mean, credit to him.
We'll
He's able to have a kid and continue doing this.
We'll have to get Danny over there and investigate.
Was this Maury Povich?
Ready for battle.
Yeah, we've been lucky to have the Shushu train for a little while now. And again, Baptiste in this round for Shu. It'll be the Reinhardt composition for the Gladiators.
And they're going to play really close to the choke here. With that Ryan, we can take a look from Kevster's POV.
Oh, man, it's just... Come on, bro.
It's a bit unlucky.
You know, they say it's good luck if a bird poops on you, right? That's the old adage. I think that's
Who
just
came
to,
up
like...
with that? The same person
I don't
said,
know. I think they're trying to take the sting out of the fact that you just got pooed on, right?
Yeah, that must
That's
be.
one of those situations. You're very lucky, Ultraviolet.
Same guy who came up with losing his learning came up with the bird pooping on you is good.
No, it's win or learn, but just sure. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Atlanta Reign now. Need a map completion at the very least.
Time to clean it
Well,
up.
with this composition, you can completely avoid the run, right? And with the Gladiators set up on the high ground here.
We've seen this just not work before. Holding the Rhine in this corner. Yeah, I mean, you have all the information.
Yeah, so it'll be Hawk going into the high ground here. Not on your screen. They're just, you just have like Nero trying to put some pressure here on the Rhine as Hawk's able to get up there. They can play on the 76.
Last time this happened, the team gave up 2 and a bit ticks here, so they respond quicker. Patapan throwing up a bit of a privacy curtain. Oh, that was a nice boot. That was insane. Hawk comes in there with the knockback. Unclear if OG was involved, and Nero says, righto, well, I'll just add some damage to the pile. Again, that defensive setup, absolutely ruined.
And maybe you want to play this because you want to keep it going into the second point. Like, I think this is where, in the street space, this Reinhardt with the Mei becomes more effective. Because right there, it was not good. Really just no defense there. Atlanta picked it apart. They knew exactly how to play against that. They get the payload moving.
Just the start that we're looking for, especially when they want to be finishing this map with some time bank. Either way, it's going to be a little squeaky if we get a extra innings.
But this is a perfect area, though, for the Mei and the Reinhardt, right? With the walls to separate players off, and the Reinhardt can just start swinging to big damn here.
Yep, that's the wall. Hawk's going to be caught on the wrong side of it. Reiner hit with a biting grenade, though, and that immortality field will go, and there won't be enough healing for Reiner by the looks of things. Yeah, just going to get run over by Nero. Disastrous turn of events for the Gladiators, who still trying to make this Reinhardt comp work.
Yes, they end up nanoing Nero before he even had the blade, able to pick up a kill, then build up towards it as Hawk trying to chase down Shu. Shu ends up picking up the kill.
I can't believe that.
Car keeps going. See how the Gladiators decide to play this. It looks like they want to stay on it. I mean, you're going to have the Blizzard. What was it in the series the other day? Nero is able to deflect the Blizzard basically in this part of the map as well. So look to see kind of a hero play a crazy scenario.
I mean, you're hoping that
again.
This isn't just sunk cost fallacy with this Reinhardt composition. The Gladiators are unwilling to switch at this time. They need to make this work. Hawk just circumvents Reiner entirely, jumping into the backline. Nero's blade has to deal with that immortality field first, and he's waiting hungrily for Shu to touch the ground. And he gets rid of him there. Patapan's Blizzard claims Ultraviolet, though the Gladiators still have some run in this fight, and Nero, caught out in the open, salutes him. Sign of respect as he heads back to spawn.
It's going to be just about everything dumped in for the Gladiators, who do win that fight. You kind of hold serve a little bit on defense here, but they're not set up for this next fight, though. Caught, fly out with the Doomfist, and secure you that second checkpoint.
Best use of Shatter here for Reiner is probably just whipping one on, or whipping one on Hawk as he goes overhead. Pretty conservative setup early for Kai here. Some shield pressure on Reiner is probably what he's looking for. Reiner had that shatter now. Here goes Hawk. There it is. Yep, whip one on the Doomfist. The charge wasn't there though. Reiner has other fish to fry apparently. He's hit with that biotic grenade, but the follow-up is good. And the biotic grenade not an option.
You're just trading damage there if you're the Rain, because you're trying to build up this nano quite fast and then use the nano with the visor, as opposed to just kind of going in with the visor and not really having anything else.
I mean, I'd love to know what the win rate is with nano visor, especially unanswered nano visor.
It's got to be strong. Yeah. I mean,
you just bully through. Against a Reinhardt though, maybe it's a little harder to get value out of. Have to be flanked.
There's some high ground here where you can just like almost shoot over the Reinhardt though, right?
Doesn't mean you're maybe lined up for someone like Shu. Okay, Hawk goes over.
Kai's going on a flank.
Nero under pressure. Oh, this guy is so filthy.
Kai on a flank right now. He actually uses the visor.
Nano boost on Nero. Kevster deals with him. Shu backs up. Still has a little bit of this amplification matrix to work with. Kai just rolls straight on through here, direct helix hit rather, and Kevster's in trouble. He's in deep trouble. He actually pops the visor! Oh, you unhinged, sir! Getting Kai there might well be worth it.
And you have a few trades. It looks like OG gonna go back, try and get some players onto the card. Is Nero's gonna make his way back? Looks like players like Gladiators retreating as well, trying to get that speed boost. Taxi him back. You might have a slight window here for the Rain, as they're gonna get back to the payload. They're gonna make a little bit of progress.
It could be, honestly, like another Reinhardt shatter onto the Doomfist. Yeah. Try and shut Hawk down, give your backline a couple of seconds at least, right? And an easy sleep dart connection onto the Doom, right? You just throw the sleep dart on the downed Doomfist. Glad split their forces briefly there, looking to try and shut down that flank attempt. And Patapan skittering away. Reiner sleeping right now. Blizzard, Ultraviolet, can't get out of it. Hawk trying to save or at least find a trade, but he gets stuck in the Blizzard himself, and the sound barrier for the Gladiators means they go hard. Well, look, sometimes it's more about sending a message.
Right. Oh.
Well, message received.
Going for a ride here.
Oh dear.
Man, things were looking actually pretty good for the Rain, right? Near the first point take, they get a first fight here early. But since then, absolutely nothing. And like I said, this is where the Reinhardt comp pays off. Maybe you play it on this point 8, you just try and gain some ultimates, kind of have some of that going into that second part of the map. This is where it's really effective with the Mei.
It's go time. It might have to be a naked Dragon Blade from Nero to get his team in a winning position here. 14 seconds remain. Nero undoubtedly is going to be looking for a way to flank here, get an advantage without a nano boost. Shu has a matrix, Patapan a little low, has to ice block early. There might be something there, looking for the Mei, and Nero has it. Reiner's sleeping on the job right now. Deflect there to stop the hammer swings, and this is a play with no nano. Nero goes for 2. Kai's back on the Hanzo here, trying to get rid of Funny Astro, who's looking to stall the cart. A very low economy scenario for the Rain, and they come out on top.
Can you challenge this one more time? It doesn't look like, yeah.
Not against the Doom.
Yeah, you have Funny Astro, and there's no switch to the Doom, yeah. So you're going to let this one go in for the Gladiators. So the Rain still with an opportunity, and because they didn't invest too much into that, like you mentioned, they're going to have this nano. The nano probably for either Nero or Hawk here, you imagine.
What do you make of the Patapan Genji switch?
I think they're just trying to put more pressure on this Hanzo, right?
Try and control high ground or at least contest it.
And if you're not going to play the Rhine, you're not going to play the Mei in this situation.
Reiner with the switch up here. Hawk doesn't want to have to power block in his position because he gets killed by a punch from right. Yep, there it is. Swift strike, dash through. Hawk really, in the Doom mirror, doesn't want to power block in the open for any reason.
No. And the Genji also is better for the Gladiators in this position because you can control that high ground a bit better, especially when you have two players on the other team with the Hanzo and the Genji, and even, you know, Hawk on the Doom, right, who can get that high ground access. So the Genji allows you to chase down some of those kills, put a little bit more pressure on that high ground.
29 seconds left. Just a completion for the Rain would be enough to give them a shot. Meteor strike. Shu trying to get out of that area of effect. No dart chance there. Hawk's going to knock him up against the wall. And okay, just finding Reiner apparently. This puts the Rain within striking distance of the Gladiators' record, but Los Angeles are going to come back out of the gates with a sound barrier to match that of OG. What can Kai get done with this Dragon Strike? The placement here is going to be crucial, and you can see what he's thinking, Matt. Here we go.
He's going to use it early on. It's going to back them up. They're going to have to wrap all the way around to the other side of the spawn.
Oh, Reiner walks straight into a binding grenade as well. Funny Astro too late on the sound barrier. Atlanta has one of their own though, and the Gladiators are still looking to fight. OG wants a piece of Patapan here right now, and he's stuck with an arrow from Kai as he's letting them fly across the map. OG looking to power forward here. He gets rid of Funny Astro and the Rain. They get the map done. It's a 10-second difference.
That's a huge clutch though by the Atlanta Rain to bring that back. Able to secure at least an overtime scenario here. So I really like the use of that Dragon Strike, right? They get the Sonic Arrow, they see they're all kind of grouping up there, they want to get the effect of the sound barrier out together. They use a Dragon Strike, they're forced to wrap all the way around, and you can actually predict that, which they did, and it's the Ultraviolet Biotic Grenade that hits Reiner right on out the door.
Limiting the options for the Gladiators, really making it a very simple case of door A or door B for the Atlanta Rain. So this is going to be a little hectic. The Gladiators tried the Reinhardt defense. It was not good at all. Again, if they want to have a chance here in this overtime scenario, maybe go with something a little bit more tried, a little bit more true.
And I don't think you can afford to play this, the Reinhardt on defense. If the Gladiators coming out with this Doomfist, because obviously you do not want to allow the Atlanta Rain to get that first point, which kind of looks like you almost gave up last time, and just push on forward.
Just that Rein comp on defense. Again, scrim results must have been very different with that setup, but it looks pretty easy to outmaneuver.
I also don't think it's intended to full hold a point A. I think it's more intended to, you know, you can fight on the point, you can brawl out on the point a little bit better, right? It's going to make it harder on the high ground, but...
I mean, were that the case, you might even see it here though, right? If Bleeding Clock is your objective.
Yes, but you don't want to give this up. Like, I think a lot of the time you're going to give it up and then really lock down that streaks with the Reinhardt, where I don't think you want to play that type of game here. Okay,
the Atlanta Rain are going to take about 15 to 20 seconds just to be set up here, and the Gladiators want to make sure the Rain only have one opportunity. And this is not a fight that's going to involve any ultimates. This is going to be pure fundamentals, positioning, and looking for the first pick. Great boop there from Moji. That's going to deny Reiner. Here's a chance for the Rain. Oh my! 3-player Biotic Grenade? That's going to slow them up again. 17 seconds.
They clutched Reiner and they got him with a Biotic Grenade. That's huge.
Doomfist now down for the Los Angeles Gladiators, and the Atlanta Rain have been able to circle around them. They've got a high ground position to work from, but they still need to capture the point. Someone's going to work on it right now, and that's going to be one tick for Atlanta. Hawk moves off it here, though. Okay, back to the point now. They're looking maybe just to secure this fight, but Caps has found Ultraviolet and Kai. That's two. Are there more? In the future of this Tracer player, the Atlanta Rain spring forth. They get the reinforcements, and they send the Rain packing.
Funny Astro and Kempster put so much pressure there on the Ultraviolet and Kai. Funny Astro just so elusive on the Lucio, so difficult to track down. As, yeah, you see he looks across at Kempster, they're probably laughing about that as they were able to win that 2v2 with relative ease. Kempster able to pick up those kills. I think it also is quite big though, Mitch, that Atlanta able to get 2 ticks out of that, right? 68%, pretty decent here. Don't make me sad, haters, please. Well, maybe you should have skipped the first 4 seasons. Hey, hey, hey. I didn't lie. I didn't lie. I was just saying. Look, the Gladiators are awesome now. It just was a little rough for a bit.
Don't give it to him, crowd.
Look, this is the best Gladiators team they've ever had. Like, in the past, they have looked like, roster-wise, that they would be that good, right? But they've been Gladiators at times, where I don't think you're going to see that this year. I think this is a team that has way too much talent to go backwards. Like the fact that they have Ants and Skewed on the bench is just like, what? I mean, they'd be starting on every other team.
Not a doubt about it. Now, 68.3% was gained for the Atlanta Reign, so it's actually more than 2 ticks. The Gladiators need a pretty convincing fight win here. This is far from certain.
See, Hawk did a really nice job on the last time on offense with the Doomfist. Let's see how it works on the... Oh, okay, well, Kai just able to take out Padman. That's huge. I mean, they don't have a ton of time on the clock. The 10-second lead they had is basically gone at this point.
That's
right?
the worst possible pick, I think, that you could have seen. Padapan is the play. They can actually put pressure down and potentially force a mistake. Not the end of the world, but the Gladiators need a clean fight win. 3 players on the point.
So see, they got to get Reiner to the high ground. They got to try and make a play here.
Besser again was clutch in that last fight. What can he do here? All right, OG, noted.
They sleep Ultraviolet at range.
Oh, okay, that's it! Reiner gets in there, Ultraviolet is removed, and that's the Lions. Just use the punch share of healing gone from the Atlanta Reign. Nero trying to teleport to the high ground. Reiner's going to snarl Hawk right on up here. And remember, 2 ticks, that's all the Gladiators needed. Hawk jumps on in and just flattens Kevster, but he in turn will be forced to succumb to the high ground goes Reiner. Sends Kai upstairs. And that's the Gladiators, 2-0.
And that is a sick play. You see, they go over and they hug Shu. It's Nero.
Unreal sleep.
That is a cross-map sleep. That Shu hits on the Ultraviolet on the high ground, and then a sick biotic grenade at range connects with Hawk and Ultraviolet, and they're able to get the kill. That is a game-winning play there from Shu. That is nasty.
It's not the first time that Shu has absolutely taken matters into his own hands. This time was subtle, but my God, it was effective. Now the Atlanta Reign are on the precipice of being sent down to that lower bracket. And the Gladiators would advance. Map number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely not one you ought to be missing.
support. It's Shu! Shu!
It's on the high ground. What do they do here? Shu has taken so much damage. He's been pushed down to the low ground, and the aggression is just enough. That's going to be Havana going to the Gladiators, and we are going the distance here. Shu, what is that?
That is so good from Shu. What a beast in the back line.
Wait, they're getting pushed off the point.
My goodness.
It's still winnable for the Gladiators.
Certainly are.
He gets slapped. It doesn't even come out. The Gladiators are coming back on the point. No way.
This is huge. And the Gladiators squeak over the line.
That's how you get those insane statistics.
Shu is just absolutely insane.
Oh, he gets shut down. Shu finds it, Nero. He's in shock.
What a brilliant performance from our MVP candidate here.
Take a sip of your milk or whatever that was. You deserve it. And what's going through my head over and over is that Amp Matrix play from Shu. What a individual clutch. It's going to be desperation
Shu?
now for the Gladiators.
Shu's turning it with his Amp Matrix.
With the Amp Matrix. Shu! Jimu's been taken out. I don't believe that. You have got to be kidding me.
It's with an uncanny frequency that it's Shu who steps up with these individual moments of brilliance to clutch rounds out. It happened last year, happened before that, and here's yet another one to add to the history books.
And it's rare that, when you see a player on another team, right, and you're like, ah, man, that player is sick. When he was on Guangzhou, right, I think everybody still knew, like, this player is going to be nuts. So let's take a look at this.
The Sandman cometh.
Oh, just like clips him right on the outside. And the biotic grenade that comes in here is just enormous.
Look at it. There's an attempted body block here, but oh, the timing.
Yeah, it gets both.
Ryan, all he has to do is pay a quick visit. He just ding-dong dashes Ultraviolet out of the server. Unreal. That is just...
In the little B-roll clips we had as well, he had another sleep dart in basically the same spot.
Skewed comes in now for Funny Astro, which is, we've seen obviously the Brig from Skewed, one of the best Brigitte players in the league. Funny Astro, by the way, also extremely good at Brig.
Yes.
It's just not his role on this team.
Yeah, it's not like he is a lackluster Brig. It's just you have one of the best ones in the league, and then Ons comes in. It's always scary when you see Ons come in.
The inked up assassin has landed again. We already have a bit of a feeling of what we might see compositionally from the Gladiators. And Venom comes in for Nero here. Nero saw a lot of Genji from him. Venom definitely a Tracer specialist in every sense of the word.
And you're gonna have a Gator come in, so this tells you we're gonna see probably some Winston-based stuff on the outside, maybe like a Reinhardt, but with the map pick here from Atlanta and it being Dorado, you're looking at a lot of Winston-based compositions. You're looking at Widowmaker play across the board. We do see a lot of the Brigitte on this map, so that's why you see Skewed coming in as well.
It will be the same setup probably that we saw the Gladiators switch to if it were Gibraltar, right? They opt for a pretty similar play style there. But Kai's up to the challenge, right? We get very excited because we have, obviously a lot of the best Widowmakers in the West here at the Kickoff Clash. Obviously we saw, the interplay between, Kai and Hydron with that matchup between the Rain and the Mayhem. Arns has pretty consistently been put in that top three, right? I think a lot of people, if they just had to go off the top of the head, three of the top four would probably include like Happy Kai, Arns would be in there, right?
Yeah, it's tough to argue with how good those players are on those long-range hit-scan heroes. Not just Widowmaker, you look at like Ashe. Ashe has seen some play. We know how good Ons is on that hero, but...
No, real signature for him when she was just played every match, right?
I think you're going to see the Widowmakers just basically locked in here. Widowmaker with the Tracer in play. With Venom coming in for Atlanta, right? You think he's going to be playing the Tracer most of the time. It does give the option for the Gladiators because Kevs are so flexible to even play the Genji, right? When you want to access the high ground on the second part of the map.
That's a good point. Sometimes the Tracer just doesn't really cut it. If you want to be able to go upstairs, but this might be one of the Gladiators' most nasty configurations here in the Atlanta Rain, putting Gator and Venom back in to try and stave off a 3-0 drubbing. Again, down to the lower bracket they would go, and there are some very hungry teams waiting for them there. Make no mistake.
I also would say, even if the Rain lose this, and this has been a relatively close series. Like, you know, the first point on Ilios, right, went to like 99-99 pretty much. The second point, I think they just kind of like outgot comped, just kind of rolled there. But King's Row was pretty close. They brought back Atlanta. Like,
It didn't start close.
no, it didn't start close. But like, Shu doesn't hit that sleep dart, there's not a guarantee that they end up taking that map. We could easily be going into this as 1-1.
Should be no shock here to see Kai on the Widow, Venom on the Tracer. There will be more Gator Winston action and OG on the Brigitte. Now, can we see a teleport play from the attackers, normally just across the way up into one of the buildings to circumvent the frustrating sort of rooftop play from defensive Winstons?
Oh, they actually put a TP straight up.
What is this? Oh, they weren't ready for it at all. Ryan is able to strike straight to the heart and remove Ultraviolet. Oh man, that is confidence brimming.
Well, so many teams play further back there because they expect that teleport to go all the way towards the back, and Kai goes, no way. As they TP straight up to the high ground and just jump in and start battling. So we have not seen any team do that. That is such a smart strategy there from the Gladiators.
Just the utter disrespect as well to jump straight into your face. With a composition that's usually a bit more finesse-based, right? You'd set up for a while, but this is just aggressive.
I don't even think that's BM. I think it's just catching them off guard, because a lot of teams just play so lax at the beginning, because Winston Bubble comes in the high ground, and now you're kind of scrambling, but Kai with a headshot on the shoe, sensing right.
Good opener there. Arns obviously gives him a tickle, but Kai really not bothered by it. No one is doing anything about Reiner in the backline, with OG going down so early. Ultraviolet had zero support.
That's one of those plays at the beginning of a map, though, that rattles you pretty bad. As Car moving in, Reiner goes back to just get some healing from Shu from range. So now they'll get everybody back.
Kai will have another opportunity to be the difference maker here. Reiner's Winston Bubble a little frustrating. Ooh, doesn't quite find the shot. He gives away his position to Arns now. Be pretty crazy to re-pick that, and he still does. The third time lucky. Arns gets a bit of rope-a-dope.
Kevster's just murdering everybody.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he is in the back line, just taking people out. Dash reset after dash reset. It's a biotic grenade that gets onto OG first. He's the first victim, and then just starts dashing, cutting everybody up.
So is that the first teleport here as well? They just go. They've got a Brigitte as well. So they know that proximity healing is probably going to give them the edge in that fight, and the Rain were not ready at all. You tease the Kevs to Genji. He's now built that blade. There's a nano to accompany him or Reiner, whichever.
This is where it has a huge advantage over the Tracer, being able to access this high ground. Tracer, like even like Overwatch 1, like historically, it's never really been good on this part of the map. Only selected when, you know, she's just super strong, which is usually a lot of the time.
Pulse bomb dropped there. Reiner was slept, but he's awake now. He hits Primal at just the right time. OG tries a whip shot to knock Kevster away.
Nice movement there from OG. The whip shot, and then looks like he was going to jump off the side, and then uses the shield bash, the bash to get back on top, just juke a little bit.
Yeah, the best way to deal with Genji is to, you know, imply you're going to drop down, or drop down and then, you know, grapple back up. It's frustrating for him to try and chase you in Blade, or Baptiste will use his Exo Boots as Genji comes in.
The support's got to live here, though, for Atlanta. It's just headshot after headshot coming in from Ons.
Arns doesn't quite know where Kai is until now. He sees a glimpse of him, and Reiner is first to the fight. A lot of pressure on Arns here as he grapples across the way. But look at Reiner. Look at how much spacing he's creating. It was really up to Venom to try and stall the cart there with Reiner so deeply embedded in his lineup. Another good whip shot from OG there to intercept, but still, Ultraviolet has to play a bit of a frontlining role here. Reiner slept, jumps away from the pulse bomb though. Gator returns home. And Venom really starting to get pressured down now. He sort of skewed shield bashes in his direction. Atlanta's been careful here.
Yeah, Atlanta really didn't get much out of their support ultimates. They used the rally. It just was enough to basically keep OG and Ultraviolet up as Kai with a big headshot onto Skewed. Ons returns one, though.
Yeah, Ons obviously an easy shot for him to get rid of Venom there. Reiner is nano boosted. He's able to find Ultraviolet with that kill. He can 1v2 here, especially with the Primal Rage. This could be dangerous, and of course, Kevster comes in at the most opportune moment to secure that fight. Gator will try and stall if he can, but that card got across the line.
It's just the burst of the Genji and
has Hunter been told that you probably can't use chat as a coach midway through the game?
Nah, it's...
Incredible. Not the first to do it, by the way. Krusty actually did it first at this tournament. right. Kev's played. Takes note of Kai. Tries to go for the one-hit combo. Great bionic grenade.
It's just insta-killed there.
Yeah, I mean, Venom was following up. I think Ultraviolet just domed him there with the grenade. Rhino's Primal is... It's unclear what he's hoping to create here. Bionic grenade follow-up could be good. Gator and OG are able to shrug that off eventually. Venom needs to connect this pulse bomb. The last one was a little wayward. And instead it'll settle just for rolling over Ance.
Ance goes to the 76 here with this area of the map. Doesn't want to play that Widowmaker. I still think that he's so good, probably can. Is Kai going to stay on the Widow? Just looking for these one-shot headshots as people come in. Through these chokes, has to be so careful though, as Kevster gets on top of him, he's basically dead.
Kai obviously hits that poison mine. It's a little bit of info. Bit of an awkward spot for him right now. Doesn't want to run head-to-head with Ryder. There's no escape as Kevster makes sure the kill is finished, and that's a big, big error for Kai.
Not ideal. Not the ideal positioning there.
It's going to have to be a rally here. Kai calls grapple bug. I think he was body blocked anyway, but it's by the by. Ultraviolet here getting a bit of a tickle from Reiner, who has that high ground position now. Still 5 to go for the Gladiators. They've got to make a move, and it's going to be the rally in response to Gator making the dive. But Reiner, he's hit with a Bionade. It's a finish off for Gator there as he can sort of back away. Unlikely the follow-up will be there for his bio, and he just primals. He says, okay, we'll drag this out as long as you like. Ance is going to dig a little bit deeper and try and go for a tactical Vicey here, but how is he going to bail Shu out of trouble? He doesn't have to.
And they use the nano here towards the end once the tac visor is worn off. As Ance looking for blood, trying to push up towards the spawn. It's a minute and 45 on the clock. The Gladiators marching the payload in.
Doesn't want to overextend, but again, Kai is in a bizarre position, and Kevster punishes him once more. 4 players up for the rain right now, constantly short-handed in this fight. Kevster wasn't able to deflect the Bionade, but it doesn't matter. Shu was there for the assistance. 90 seconds to work with on Dorado. Nothing to sneer at.
It's that opening set play, too, from the Gladiators that allows them to take that checkpoint A. I think it just rattles Atlanta a bit. That allows them to complete the map a minute 32 in the time bank.
Yeah, solid 90-plus seconds for the Gladiators here. And as flashy as the rain can be, it's pretty unlikely they have anything to answer that set play we saw from the Gladiators. Again, you are dealing with the team here in the Atlanta Rain that are pretty hard to tilt.
Do you just copy it?
No. I mean, Kai is just, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like, you saw the positions he was emerging from getting chased by Kevster constantly. They've got his number.
Kai was stunned when they went through the TP. He was so far back. He was like, what in the world is... it looks like the supports, I mean, even if they hit a biotic grenade, there was no living there. Everybody was coming through that TP. Is now get to see Ance on the Widow on defense. Ance against Kai. So both Widows, I mean, I don't think anybody's really gotten the advantage over the other. They've both been able to just pick players off. I think the difference has been Kevster's effectiveness on the Genji versus Venom on the Tracer.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The Atlanta Rain here, much like on King's Row, at minimum need that map completion. Well, they are headed for the lower bracket. The Gladiators will cement their title as the strongest team right now here. Hard to deny it. But they're being denied this TP play as well. This could actually be a little bit of a problem for them.
Yeah, Reiner actually plays up on that high ground and just destroys the TP. So not able to get those supports on the high ground.
It takes a long time to destroy that. The Rain could have gone.
You know, maybe had some shots at range here.
I mean, Kevster hits him with a question mark in the chat. Even he's not too sure what the game plan is here for Atlanta. You know, I speak about their resilience mentally, and I think they've definitely earned a title like that. But that was an interesting start to the round, and they've not really made any headway in sort of controlling this high ground.
There's not many teams take that position that Reiner was in, as makes it very difficult for the supports to get on through.
Oh, man.
Shot on the Venom, finish off from Shu. Some battle on it. Man, this team is so good.
I mean, every time I see them stop, I assume they're typing something.
What's wild is, for the most part, Atlanta's played a pretty good series. I think the Gladiators have just
This team's
kicked
a
it up a notch.
Yeah, this team's a long way ahead right now. Thinking, remind me of that Countdown Cup form. Again, and they have this high ground, which the Reign, then they're not going to switch to a Symmetra to try and take it now. So now you see what happens when teams have to play against this really oppressive sort of positioning. Nice work by Venom there. He can't go upstairs, but that's the weakness of Tracer. He can't chase that kill. And Kai might have... Oh, Kai! Say it ain't so!
And that's why you like the Genji instead of the Tracer, right? Because the Tracer can only access from that backside.
Kai, I guess, a DPI switcher on his mouse to make it hard for Arns to hit his head, but then didn't realize that he was headed on a one-way trip to the bottom of the ocean, and Venom finished by Arns. This is starting to turn into a bit of a cloud fiesta, Matt.
Atlanta has been able to get nothing going here. They really just started from the beginning of the game. It's even now Kai trying to get out of his spawn. Kipster like right up against him.
Oh no. Primal Rage. Not where you want to be. Ultraviolet, quick thinking and quick feet to get him away, but Shu is still going to eliminate him. Ryder doing most of the work now. The Atlanta Reign are in dire straits.
And when Venom tries to go towards that backside to make a play for Ans, it's skewed there on the Brigitte, forces him back with a recall, and then Ans to this position to wait for him again.
Infrasight would be available there as well. More likely that Ans holds onto it for when Kai builds his, if that is even going to happen at this stage. God, he's scary. Here's the blade. And there's a Bionic Grenade thrown in there. Skew's able to find Ultraviolet, and Kempster's more than happy with what he's got so far. Phantom runs headlong into the blade. Feeds himself to the wood chipper. In the Reign of 45 seconds to make something, anything happen.
Yeah, they use the nano on a Gator as he chases down Ans, and it allows Kai to pick up that kill, but the Dragon Blade so effective here. So it looks like Atlanta wants to go fast. They're going to use the Infrasight. Fully expect Ans to answer back. There it is.
Ans? Okay, I was going to say. So Answers will time out at about 12 seconds left in the round. Venom here. OG just gets eaten up
during rally.
This is it. Pulse bomb there thrown on a Reiner. Not the target that Venom was looking for. The sleep dart from Shu is a little wayward, but I mean, the smile on his face tells the whole story, Matt. This team are a country mile ahead.
They are just clicking on all cylinders right now. 1 second left.
They get themselves some overtime, but who's going to be left? It's just OG and the Los Angeles Gladiators book their ticket to a Kickoff Clash final. Dominant showing here against the Atlanta Reign.
Just that last map was just a beat down there from the Gladiators.
Look like their spirits were broken, Matt.
Look, and it's not over for Atlanta, right? This is the winner's finals. You're going to drop down. You still have an opportunity to make that grand final.
And they get a break,
yes.
Crucially, right? They get a night to sort of sit and try and recoup after that utter drubbing.
Yeah, I think you just, if you're Atlanta, you just pretend like, you go in tomorrow, pretend like this match never happened. You game plan for whoever wins this next match coming up. And then, you know, if you make it back to the Gladiators, you got to figure something out, some adjustments to make.
Who is coming even close to the Gladiators right now, Matt? Think about who's in that lower bracket, who might come out of it. Can the Dallas Fuel put this team to the test?
I don't know, man. Like, from the looks that they're able to do, and the one thing with Dallas is they're pretty readable in terms of what they're going to do, depending on like which tank is in the game, which may actually lead you to believe like maybe the Shock is actually a better chance. So this next match, though, is going to be really close. I also think I would not count Atlanta out of making that final. Atlanta, the first map was relatively, close. Kings Row kind of went into OT. This map was just not a good pick.
No handshake. Just quietly. Plenty of smack talk there in the lobby, but the Gladiators clearly pretty focused on what is next. Okay.
There's GGs, right? But then also like
there's also BGs,
I mean, I also find it brutal. Like, to be honest, like if I was Atlanta, like, do I want the other team to run over and like give me a pound and like be all happy? Like, no, I just want to pack myself up and get away. Like, that was a brutal loss. You come back tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely going to need to be a considerable mental reset for the Atlanta Reign here, who've shown us, honestly, like, that they have two really serviceable, or more than serviceable Doomfist players on their team, right? They weren't able to make the Gator Doomfist work on that first map, but it is still going to be an option going forward, and let's not forget about who's down that lower bracket and what the Reign were able to do against a Shock. Definitely still potential in this tournament for them, but, oh man, a lot of audacity from the Gladiators. It can really have an effect on you, especially when you're already behind in the series. And, I mean, from you know, hearing from Unter to the way the players play, I mean, sometimes they sound like a parody account of their own when they're sort of talking trash. It's I don't think we're going to get too much of that in a moment, and you'll probably find out why. We're going to head down to the stage now with Danny and a player interview.
Mr. Matt, thank you very much. What's up, everybody? I'm here with the one and only Kefster from Los Angeles Gladiators. Impressive stuff. Impressive stuff. Quick 3-0 for the Los Angeles Gladiators. Did you expect to be a quick match, or honestly, what'd you think about this Atlanta game?
They're a good team, so I'm a bit disappointed, but I kind of expected a 3-0, if I'm being honest, yeah.
Oh, nice. I mean, of course, with this win, you guys are now in the finals for the Kickoff Clash. How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
I'm feeling good, yeah. I'm feeling amazing. It's going to be take it home tomorrow. Fast and easy.
Fast and easy. And talking about the finals, there are a couple more matches, but who do you expect to see in the finals against the Los Angeles Gladiators?
Ooh, I was probably say, despite the results today, probably Atlanta, yeah.
Probably Atlanta? Oh, why?
Yeah. I just think they're good, yeah. I think they had a bad day, but I respect them, yeah, they're good.
Okay, well, that would be exciting. Another rematch with LA Gladiators versus Atlanta Reign. Before I let you go, one last question. Kefster, I think you're just a really gifted player. You just, whatever you play, you're just so good at it. Do you have like a favorite hero that you like to play?
Ooh, a favorite hero?
Yeah.
I'd probably say Widowmaker.
Widowmaker?
Yeah.
Why? It's just like sniping?
Yeah, I just like playing her. She's fun, yeah.
True. All right, everybody, give it up for Kefster one more time.
Thank you.
All right, that is it for the post-match interview. Mitch and Matt, back to you.
Thank you very much, Danny. Yeah, look, interesting really to hear that from Kefster saying, look, we still think that the Atlanta Reign are probably the second best team here behind us, despite the result from today. That's a pretty glowing endorsement considering what they just did to them.
Honestly, I may tend to agree with how they've looked otherwise, and even some of those games are competitive there. I think they just kind of ran into a team that is on another level right now.
Let's talk about our player of the match here from the Los Angeles Gladiators. Could have been a few candidates here, but the one player that came up clutch when it really counted was your boy, Shu. On the Ana, some Baptiste play as well. Obviously, both heroes that he's really renowned for. And you see him chiming in a lot of these eliminations. He's very, very active. You know, we talk about 8 PM players. I think he's definitely one of the higher ones. You know, whether he's balancing his responsibilities between healing or damage, he is always active.
And this sleep dart was map winning, able to land the sleep on the ultraviolet, the biotic grenade that connects with ultraviolet and Hawk, puts away that second map, which really took the wind out of the sails of the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah, pretty punishing stuff there. And you can see his offensive assists, 10.4 per 10. Also, not a small number of final blows per 10, right? That was evidenced by what we saw coming up in the kill feed there. Shu, doesn't matter if it's Ana or Baptiste here. I think maybe the sort of Gladiators Ryan Baptiste look is still a little confusing, especially on King's Row defense. It's not worked out the last couple of times we've seen it, but it doesn't matter because their Winston setup, their Doomfist setup is so squeaky clean that no team is really getting anywhere close to them right now.
No, and I think the Reinhardt play will look good if they have to bring it out. When you look at some of the other teams remaining, we've seen them play it here against the Atlanta Reign, who, you look at Kalush and the Shock can play a little bit of the Reinhardt if they want. Dallas really kind of can in some ways.
So I've been doing a little bit of it.
A little bit, but it's not kind of their go-to, where, yeah, the Gladiators, they can fall back and play it just as good as anybody else left.
That's right. Now, coming up on the other side of this game, it will be an elimination match. The San Francisco Shock will be taking on the hometown heroes, the Dallas Fuel, right here at the Esports Stadium. Arlington on the other side of these messages. You don't want to miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Hello, welcome to our game break. Zoe here, joined by Reinforce as well as Necra. And we are once again ready to break down the action. Now, unfortunately, this game wasn't quite as close as we initially hoped or thought it could be. But as we heard in the post-game interview with Danny, according to Kevster, still Atlanta Reign, they are an absolute top team. Unfortunately, they had a bad day, and that sometimes just happens. And I mean, over the last 2 days, they have showed us some top-tier Overwatch, so definitely nothing to scorn at. Necra, why don't you walk us through this match and tell us what exactly went wrong for the Atlanta Reign?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to pinpoint one specific thing, especially when, the game is supposed to be a team effort. I do believe that for the matches that we've seen today, though, a lot of it has come down to a bit of a DPS diff. Whether or not the DPS that are on the team are online and kind of have the carry pants on, unfortunately, do feel like the Atlanta Reign just got out DPS'd. I think Kevster had some impressive performances when it came to the pulse bombs on the Tracer, just being able to continuously find so much value. And just as a whole, the Gladiators were able to continue to find value with all of the ultimates that they were really able to throw out at the Reign. I don't think the Reign played badly. I just think they were outplayed. And that just seems to be kind of the theme of the series.
So Reinforce, we're talking a little bit about map choices here as well. Map number 3, for example, went to Dorado. You didn't necessarily agree with that. Why is that?
Well, I mean, they're in a tough spot. I don't know. It's like pick your poison, right? Either you're going to face Ans in a Widowmaker duel pretty much on any map, right? If you pick Gibraltar, you're going to play against Ans Widowmaker, and the LA Gladiators, they are incredibly strong in all those Widowmaker situations. So I think it was a situation of just like, well, it's escort. The LA Gladiators are fantastic at escort, so it's going to be difficult for Atlanta Reign regardless. It's a bit, hindsight is 2020. If you go to Route 66, are you going to get a different result? I don't think anything necessarily guarantees that, but it's a tough map for sure for the Atlanta Reign. Just being able to lose that King's Row because of that crucial sleep dart and biotic grenade from Shu, that makes such a big difference in this series, because if you can be afforded to lose escort and then pick a push map, for example, I mean, that would be the dream scenario for Atlanta Reign, and then you can win out on control. So losing King's Row, that was a big hit for them. I did want to shout out Reiner on the Winston on Dorado. I mean, that was an elite Winston performance. 12 final blows, 1 death from him, and 24 eliminations. He was just having a grand old time on Dorado. Like, as a former Winston player, I mean, current Winston player, but never as good as I was. But I just very much appreciated what Reiner did on the Dorado. Just being so proactive and always being up to something. Like, there were times when Reiner was 200, 250 HP, and he leapt in because he had such faith in his limits and what he could do on the Winston, just jumping between the rooftops as well on point A. Incredibly impressive performance by Reiner on the Winston, so that stood out to him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I had a Shu in the back lines, I'd feel invincible. I would have absolutely nothing to worry about as a Winston, that's for sure. Now, we do, of course, have one more game for you today. The Dallas Fuel going up against the San Francisco Shock. This is going to be another elimination match. And before we're diving into that one, we have another interview with Danny over in Texas.
Hello, guys. Yes, look who we have. We have Rush, head coach of Dallas Fuel. Everybody make some noise.
안녕하세요. 네, 반갑습니다.
Rush. All right. Last final match of today. How are the players doing? How are you doing? Are you guys nervous? 어떻게 지금 막 경기 이제 좀 굉장히 중요한 지금 경기가 이제 곧바로 시작이 되는데 러시 코치님뿐만 아니라 또 선수들 지금 좀 분위기 어떠신가요? 뭐 다들 좀 긴장은 안 하시고 다 괜찮으신가요?
이제 긴장은 하고 있지 않고 저희가 첫 경기를 하고 지금 이제 또 마지막 경기를 하다 보니까 다들 지금 약간 살짝 피곤한데 최대한 휴식을 취했고 지금 경기를 해서 이제 최선을 다할 것 같습니다. 네.
All right, I mean, I don't think anyone's really nervous. The fact that we had to play the first match of the day and then the very last match of the day does make us feel a little tired. We tried our best to get as much rest as possible, and I think we're gonna do our best for the match against the San Francisco Shock. And talking about this match, we saw San Francisco Shock come out with something special, something that we haven't seen, the Doomfist competition, and they were looking pretty good, I would say. Are you guys worried about the Doomfist comp from from the San Francisco Shock at all? 이제 오늘 또 센쇼크도 오늘 경기를 한 번 더 했었는데 거기서 오늘 둔피 조합을 처음으로 선보였어요. 센쇼크이. 러시 감독님이 보셨을 때는 좀 그거에 대한 좀 이제 걱정이나 좀 우리도 뭔가를 준비해야 되지 않았나 뭐 이런 생각은 안 하셨나요?
이제 따로 걱정은 없었고 저희가 다 해봤기 때문에 저희가 이제 그 전에 연습하다를 하면 별 문제 없이 이길 수 있을 거라 생각합니다. 네.
Alright, I mean, I'm not really worried at all because it's a competition that we've all already been playing against, so nothing that are too worrying about. We also, if we just try our best and try how we've been practicing, I think we will do fine. And my final question for you, Rush. Like the San Francisco Shock, they had Doomfist, and the match is about to start. Is there, something you guys have been cooking up specially for the San Francisco Shock? 자, 마지막 질문입니다. 이제 센쇼크는 둠피 조합을 오늘 새로 선보였고 이제 이 경기가 좀 되게 중요하기 때문에 어떻게 좀 달라스 팀도 좀 스페셜한 좀 뭔가 좀 이렇게 새로운 걸 좀 꺼내는 좀 이런 모습을 기대해도 될까요? 우리가 다?
이제 저희가 뭐 새로운 것보다 저희가 원래 잘하는 거 그걸로 이길 생각입니다. 일단. 네. 감사합니다.
All right. Nothing. I don't want to say anything new or special, but I think we're just gonna roll out with what we are very comfortable comfortable and also very proud. Not proud. Sorry, guys. I'm losing my words. Sorry. I apologize. Very comfortable with. I think we're just gonna play that composition that everyone knows and loves. All right, Rush. That is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time. 시간 내주셔서 너무 감사드리고. Dallas Fuel, fighting. Zoe, back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rush. Thank you so much, Danny. And yeah, I mean, that's really the way to go, right? Go with your comfortable picks, go with what you're confident in. And for the Dallas Fuel Necra, that has been those Zarya compositions. So you see them using that throughout the entirety of this match against the San Francisco Shock to good success, great success. Where are we at?
I think so. I think that especially feeling and seeing how warm Dallas Fuel were on this composition at the beginning of the day, if Edison can continue to have those incredible performances on the Reaper, Sparkles, Genji was popping off. There are definitely some really incredible pieces to this Zarya composition that Dallas Fuel has used to success already, and I think it's going to continue to work against the San Francisco Shock, just looking at the fact that San Francisco have looked a little lost in this tournament so far. They definitely turned it around in their matchup today, but I just think that Dallas Fuel have it all together and they will just keep finding success with it.
Reinforce, if we're looking at the San Francisco Shock here, do you think they can ride the high they're coming off of just now?
Yeah, I think you can, because especially Houston Outlaws as well, they played a bit of a brawly kind of composition with Lucio Moira. That's a lot of sticking together for the Moira healing, right? So Dallas Fuel, they're looking to stay together as well, playing this Zarya composition and play around that, right? So if Proper on the Tracer can work his way around with the flanks and try to poke at the backline of the Dallas Fuel, that could lead to some openings. So keep your eyes on Proper's Tracer to unlock some of this of a potential for the San Francisco Shock.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm a massive victim of recency bias. and looking at how the Shock played today, that may or may not sway my preds for this one. Let's take a look at who went with which team. I gotta say that I don't know. For me personally, I think what I saw from Popper again today and what I saw from Kalush today as well, that just made me that made me go with the San Francisco Shock. And I see I'm not the only one who was very impressed by that. Danny is with me on this one. Realistically, do you think it's going to be a close one or?
No. I mean, the Dallas Fuel fans in the building. Come on, they're excited. It's packed over there. The Dallas Fuel fans with the signs. They're going to be cheering on. It's going to be great. I mean, Shock fans, you can tweet at me, but you're not actually in Dallas. It's going to help them.
I mean, and you're not there at all, so you're not scared of it either, I assume.
I'm very scared of my Twitter timeline. It's awful.
It's all right. You're a big boy. You can take on like what 5 fans at once. Like I can see that if it gets into it. Well, I'm excited. Necra, any last words? Do you also expect this to not be a close one?
Bless you.
Also bless you.
I'm allergic to 3-0s.
I'm not qualified to bless
okay,
people,
sorry,
but...
I had to sneeze because I.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm allergic to 3-0s. Okay, yeah, I think this is actually going to be really close. Honestly, it was a little bit of a coin toss for me in terms of who was going to end up taking this match. Of course, I got to back up the Dallas Fuel based off of the performance that we saw from just today. But yeah, it's going to be a close one. Maybe a 3-1, maybe a 3-2, something in that direction.
Oh, wow. Okay, how gracious. I see Necra is allergic to my San Francisco hopium. I get it. It's fine. We'll see. They will battle it out for us on the battlefield. And of course, the three of us will be back to break down all the action after this next match. So get ready for our last match of the day. Another one with everything on the line between the Dallas Fuel and the San Francisco Shock right after this.